Hello, my name is Megan Renee, and the purpose of this presentation is to examine institutional review board processes and development of research methodology. In discussing these topics, we will discover institutional approval of research, review of research with human subjects, sample selection, consent, research protocol, data collection, and instrumentation. Approval for pursuit of research is delineated by the Institutional Review Board of the specific institution. This board may be referred to in different names depending on the associated institution. Some are referred to as ethics boards, while others adhere to the typical institutional review board name. An IRB, commonly known, must know the type of research being pursued. Quantitative and qualitative methods differ in construction and differ in evaluation. While both have strict guidelines, each requires a different approach due to their nature of design. According to Maxwell, 2019, qualitative research is typically scrutinized more than quantitative research. Many professors often encourage quantitative pursuits rather than qualitative due to the ease of measurement in quantitative research. Review of animal and human research aims to ensure ethical measures and safeguards are set in place to protect those participating in the study as well as those engaging the research. Review boards conduct reviews under three main categories: exempt, expedited, and full board reviews. The IRB Approval Process. In order for the IRB to approve research procedures and designs, the board must receive a set list of information. In order for the research to be reviewed by the board, researchers must provide the purpose of research. The purpose of research aims to explain to the board what the research intends to address or a problem it intends to solve. The background and rationale is provided and used to establish the need for research. Researchers must submit the intended participation population and how information utilized and collected will be kept private and confidential. The researchers must also submit the study's intended design and methodology. By providing this information, the board can evaluate the design and its appropriateness for the topic of interest. Finally, the risk and benefits to the participants must be clearly outlined to ensure proper safeguards and ethical considerations are included. An institutional approval of research on human subjects. Institutional reviews examine the intended participants of all submitted research. The main evaluation is to ensure that participants are protected and procedures are ethical in their execution and development. While this type of research can undergo any type of review, oftentimes experimental procedures carry more than minimal risk and require a full board review of methodology and design. Utilizing human subjects warrants different methodology than that of animal research. When utilizing human subjects, created instrumentation or measurement tools must be put through pilot studies to ensure the items have reliability and validity, and to ensure they are safe for their intended use. A key component of human subject research is the implementation and collection of consent. Consent must be obtained by all participants in the study. Sample selection. Sample selection is incredibly important as this outlines the desired population for observation or experimentation. When determining the population, components to think about include demographics and shared attributes or traits. Will the study include only female participants or be all-inclusive? Does the desired population share traits or commonalities, such as a profession or health condition? Secondly, researchers must examine how this opportunity will be communicated. Will participants be selected, or will they be collected based on a volunteer basis? Once the sample is collected, more is not always better. Exclusion criteria can be developed in order to condense or refine the selected sample. Sample size formula. An effective sample size can be determined through multiple methods. In some scenarios, the institution or professor one is collaborating with will establish a minimum for sample size. During one's coursework, this was 30 participants. In other scenarios, researchers will use estimation methods. Utilizing estimation methods aims to limit both type 1 and type 2 errors within research. Lastly, newer research uses a form of mathematical calculation in order to determine the effective sample size for the intended research. Obtaining consent. Similar to a physician, the researcher's role when interacting with participants is to ensure the participants understand procedures and obtain their informed consent. Obtaining consent stems from the delivery, communication, documentation, and ensuring the correct type of consent. Providing verbal and written delivery of the intent of research can aid in obtaining consent from participants. Effectively communicating goals, objectives, procedures, and methodology further the understanding of all participants. Ensuring utilization of verbiage that is easily understood by the participants aid their understanding as well. Documentation is incredibly important. Documentation of consent in healthcare is kept on file with the patient. Similarly, in research, it may look like the researchers having a signed copy of informed consent and the participant having a copy as well. Lastly, obtaining the correct type of consent is incredibly pertinent to the research procedures. This is especially true when observing children. The child's legal guardian must provide consent for the child's participation, but the child must provide their own assent. Research protocol. The following outlines the subjects needed in order to develop research protocol. In developing research protocol, the beginnings start with a problem or a question. This problem or question guides the researcher to a hypothesis. Once the research question and hypothesis are nailed down, the researcher can investigate the background of the issue, develop a purpose, establish participants, choose designs, experimental versus non-experimental, including a control group or not. This leads to the development of assessments of risk and benefits associated with the research, as well as an assurance of confidentiality and privacy for all participants. Research protocol and data collection. Data collection can begin prior to the experimental process or manipulation in the intended research. However, data collection should not begin before consent is obtained from all participants or before scheduling of participants. When collecting data, adhering to developed procedure will aid in consistent measures and data. Those collecting the data should be well versed in the instrumentation and documentation platform being utilized to minimize human error. With that being said, the method of data recording should be established during the research protocol development process. Lastly, we will cover instrumentation. Instrumentation choice is key in data collection. Ensuring the intended instrumentation relates and is applicable to the researcher's intent is incredibly pertinent to the methodology. Instrumentation can be standardized or created. This means that the researcher has the option to choose from a developed and tested instrument or to create an instrument that relates directly to their needs. While a standardized instrument saves the researcher time from a development standpoint, when utilizing an instrument with a new population or field, it is safe practice to conduct pilot studies or pilot testing. This allows the researcher to create a field similar to their intended study and determine if the instrument is reliable and valid when utilized in their specific setting.